Hello. Just want to see if my sound works. I don't know why I have to like really sit down and fix this setup. There we go. All right. So I didn't have the chat window open. I don't know if anyone was chatting. All right. So today we're going to be doing. All right. I got to get rid of the now that the sound works. I got to stop. There's like a slight delay on my end, and it drives me nuts. So today we're going to pick back up Super Zombie Runner. Before I got started on that, I wanted to do some cleanup on another project. So just give me a second. I'll let a few more people get onto the stream, and then we're going to get started. I'm just trying to tweet this. Doo-doo-doo. All right, and I don't know how this is going to work out, but we'll try to figure out. There's a few things that I need to probably set up, and I don't know if I could set them up on here during the stream. I guess we'll do it. You guys can have access to my accounts. I don't really care. All right, almost done with this tweet. I can't like tweet and talk at the same time, apparently. Twitch.tv/Jesse Freeman. That's me. All right, about to start my live game dev stream on Twitch. The plan for today is to begin adding GameOn support to Super Zombie Runner. Watch now. All right, cool. So I guess we're ready to go. Let me send out this tweet. And all right, game dev time. So how are we going to do this? I think what I want to do first off as a sort of warm up before we even get into Super Zombie Runner, I had a few little bugs that I wanted to fix. Just some little things that I saw in where's transfer? I want the latest version of Pixel Vision 8 builds. Whoops, what do I want? I want documents Pixel Vision 8. We'll paste this version in. I might if my window is it's that weird time of the year in New York where like the weather's actually nice, but we don't have like the heat on. Oh, that might actually make sound. Or you don't have heat on or AC, so I don't want to like roast in my office, so I have the window open. So if it's too unprofessional, like talking and pulling the mic at the same time, if it's too unprofessional, I'll close the window. Just let me know. Although I don't know if it'll matter in the end. All right, so what I wanted to do real quick was I was in the middle of setting up this game, and let's actually I think what I want to do is I'm going to kill the sound for the game creator. Oh, fuck. Already cursing. I was like, today I'm not going to curse. But there's something like Unity does something like really weird where when it hides the mouse, even when you hide the screen, it still affects like UI. So all right, let's just mute that. And this way you guys don't hear the background music. And what I wanted to do is I noticed that I had left that in the I left like a bad guy in the beginning of the game, and I just want to wipe him out. And I was just testing this to see. I feel like this is good. This is good. I fixed some bugs this morning in Pixel Vision 8, but what I need to do is I was trying to build all the runners, and I ran into a problem where I don't know what it was. It was giving me some difficulty. So I won't be able to actually compile this. My goal later today, probably like tonight when the kids are asleep, is to just go in and publish a new version of this game, along with a new version of my other game. But I think for the most part this is done. Let's take a look. Actually, I'm gonna put sound back on for a second. So while I play it, at least I can hear. Oh my. This is so bad. All right, here we go. So. Oh, there was one thing I wanted to fix. It was like the high score. You don't see the high score. Or you see it, but you don't see the meters. So let's see if I can get the meters to render. I don't remember where that stuff is. If game over equals false. Draw. So the problem is that the way that I set up this meter code, I gotta stop the feedback now. The way that I set up this meter code is that it only draws if there's a player object here, and I wonder if we could do something like this. This is sort of stupid, but actually what we could do is draw a meter. Whenever we go to draw a meter, if the object is null, we'll just draw an empty meter. So code, there should be one called meter. And when we say draw meter, entity type, total, percent. I just want to make sure that the entity is 0, we just make it. All right, let's try this real quick. If entity equals nil, then entity will make entity equal a new object, and then we'll do entity percent equals 0, else end. All I'm trying to do is get this trying to calculate, I'm trying to get it to where, let's see here, local percent equals 0. You know what we could do? I think we could just do, something like this. How can I trick this thing? If you're just tuning in, I'm just doing a, before we get into the main thing, I'm doing what I normally like to call like a code warm-up, which is usually where I spend about 20 to 30 minutes working on like a little idea. In this case, I'm just trying to fix a bug that I wanted to fix in Jump and Shoot Man, where when you play the game, it'll display empty meters. So I'm trying to figure out is how I can just hack this where if there's no entity equals an empty object. And What we could do is force this to, let's see if this works. This will probably throw an error too. 56. Right, when it gets here, well, I wonder. Lua is like a weird language. One of the things that's like really weird about Lua is, yeah, it doesn't like that at all. 65. Value math floor percent. Lua will let you compare two nil values, which is sort of weird. I mean, I don't really get this language. Hold on, I'm gonna put on some music real quick, and then we can go back to trying to figure this out. I think what I'm probably gonna wind up doing is creating a new method that just draws the meter, the background of the meter, and then we'll do something that's like draw meter and one that's update meter, and we'll just split it out. That way it's a little bit easier that I can call what I need to. What I'm looking for is best of Discovery Weekly. Just trying to get some music going on Spotify. You guys won't hear it, but I will. Because if not, like I go nuts just like talking to myself. Am I on the right? Oh my god. Like I'm not. Today feels like Monday. I don't know. I can't get my act together. Discover Weekly. Taste the music. All right. So back to this meter thing. Let's do this. What we're gonna do is create. We're gonna change this to function update meter bar x y entity type. Then here we're going to pass in the percent, and we'll calculate the percent and the entity stuff here. And what I'm hoping to do is, let's get rid of this n, and we'll just simply call draw meter, and we'll pass in the percent, and here we're going to save out the percent to the next value, and then now draw meter will draw itself, and it doesn't have any ties into the entity at all. All right, so this will allow us to, let's do one thing here on the code now. We're going to do this and update meter bar. And I think what we'll do for the first draw call is when the game loads up, draw meter background. And here we can just call the draw meter, we'll pass in the X and the Y and a percentage. Actually, I think we need the type. So normally, like I said, like when I get started for the day, although I have sort of done a code warm up, we'll just do a code warm up on the stream. I like to just, this is like something that I talk a lot about this. I have talked a lot about this in the past, where basically when I was an artist, my mentor, he would have me, before I would go and start painting, he would always have me sketch for 30 minutes and just sort of like warm up my brain and get like creativity flowing. And that's sort of where I've taken this idea from, is that before we start getting into like the main project, sometimes it just helps to just do, I'm like scrolling all over the place, but I can't find this again. It just sort of helps to get your brain in the right frame of mind. So let's just move this over here. That's probably what I need to do. All right, so we're going to call draw meter and we'll pass in the same stuff. The only difference is that we're going to set this to 0 and set this to 0. And we can just make percent equal percent or 0. And get rid of this. So that's just going to force the meter to draw itself. And let's take a look and see if this just worked. And then once, there we go, perfect. And then we start the game, everything works. And then when the player is dead, we should probably just draw empty. Let me try to kill the player. All right, so what I think I want to do is this. When the game is over, I'm going to on update, on draw. Let's just see if we can put this here. Else, this is going to draw too many times, but I think what I want to do is, even though it's going to be drawing constantly, which I really don't want to do, it'll at least work out better. I want to like hit some spikes and die. Let's see here. Come on. There we go. Game over. And it gives me the empty meters, and that works out well. Perfect. All right. I like that. Now the game, I feel like, is done. Or at least as done as it's going to be. This sort of brings me back to exactly where this was for Ludum Dare, assuming that this game actually would have worked during Ludum Dare. So, and then what we'll do next is once I get GameOn working inside of Super Zombie Runner, I'm going to start looking into how to bring it into these other games that I built inside of Pixel Vision 8. Sorry, so let's quit Pixel Vision 8. Let's quit this. Oh, what I should do is let's archive it real quick. I'm going to make this version 4, and this will be the final version. So I want to just go to data. Oh, also I fixed this, so I can now save it, and it won't be doing debug color. So like one thing I'll do is if I do unique colors and hit save, what I went through and I fixed a few of the settings. So unique colors will make sure that even though I had a palette here, it's going to only allow you to have unique colors for the system. And then here, if I start the game and I die, you see that we'll do a flicker. It's hard to see here, but he's just flickering, but let's see if we can get him to flicker on a white background. He's actually turning completely solid. You can see it there with the text. There's no longer, like, what setting the debug color flag to will allow you to show the mask color, which represents transparency, if you go out of range on the colors. So I've shifted the colors for the text for the game over, and now there's no colors to actually display. So if I come back in here and I go back into the data and remove unique colors, I just want to make sure that, well, actually, I can show you right here. If I set debug color to true, it's going to show mask whenever we shift the colors out of range. So as you can see, when the player gets hit, I shifted his colors over by 4, and it shows now the magenta. That's more for my internal stuff, like the tools use that. Like tools like the sprite tool, they show debug color, but if not, it would default to the background color. But all right, I think at this point that is done. Let me go back and actually save the game. Jump and shoot man v4. We'll save it. Let's quit and let's archive it. Cool. All right, so that is done. So Game Creator Pro, what is it? Jump and Shoot Man. I got so many games now, I can't even keep track. Jump and Shoot Man is done. So what I want to do is let's take a look here in the workspace, documents, projects, Super Zombie Runner. All right, now I have this as a public repo, but there's some things that I did in here that are problematic for the game. Let's open up Unity. I have a new version of Unity. I guess I downloaded, yeah, 2018.1.0 F2. Living on the edge. Nothing like testing out a new version of Unity. All right, what we're going to do is let's open up Super Zombie Runner, which is in User Studio Document Project. Yeah, okay, here we go. Yeah, sure, whatever. You destroy my entire project. It's cool. I don't really care. What the? Unity Package Manager now uses packages subfolder in the project to persist package configurations in future package. The project manifest JSON was moved to packages. You can safely delete. Oh, cool. So this is some weird file that they added in the last year's version of Unity. Now they're moving it around. Like, whatever. All right, we're gonna have a happy stream today. I'm not gonna get into the intricacies of how weird it is that every version of Unity breaks the previous project. So before we do anything, what I'm doing is just testing out that this actually works in 2018. It was working a few weeks ago or 2 weeks ago before I did Ludum Dare. So let's see where we net out. All right. Metal support is disabled. I wonder if Metal actually work on my laptop. Build settings. I don't even know how to enable it. Player settings. Is Metal still changing? Active graphics API requires reloading all the graphic objects. This might take a while. Of course. That's fine. API Metal validation. I don't know what that is. Let's just do all of it. Metal restricted back buffer usage. This prevents read back from the back buffer, but enables some driver optimization. I don't know it. I don't use any of that. What I'm hoping was that Metal support would just be like automatic, but apparently it's not. Cool. All right, let's run this and see how it works. I'm going to mute the audio. I'm sure you'd love to listen to my terrible music over and over again, but all right. So game runs. Whoa, it is running really, really slow. Is that the goodness of Metal? Wow. That's crazy. Okay, let's stop that. I thought that would like optimize it. No. Hey, look at that. Our first Unity 2018 bug. All right, well, it would appear as if the speed is really slow, and I don't know why that is happening. Let's look at the stats. It's running at 170, 200 frames a second, but for some reason this is like, am I just like missing something, or is this game like running like, maybe it was like I'm so used to maybe it's I'm used to Jump and Shoot Man running faster. Is that the problem? I am so confused right now. All right, well, here's the thing. The game works. I can always look into optimizing it later. What I want to figure out is, all right, that was weird. That's so weird. Let's open up. I got to take a look at this. This is driving me nuts. We got a little bit of time left in the first Pomodoro, so we'll take a look at what's going on with the speed. I wonder if it has something to do with the fact that I like mess around with the speed and I have like this slow motion effect stuff. I wonder if it would help to just go full screen here. How do I move back? Whoops. All right, I guess that will work. Maybe we could start getting a little bit more screen real estate here. All right, so what I want to figure out is why you don't play at the right speed. What's going on? So I feel like I have a class somewhere called time manager. There we go. Time scale. Manipulate time. Let's do this. Let's not manipulate time. And see if this runs. Oh, it does not like that idea. All right, let's try that. Oops. Ugh, tired today. Like, that looks like it's running at full frame. No. I feel like this. I feel like the game is just running this slow because I'm used to the other game running a lot faster. All right, but now nothing stops. All right, cool. We're just going to assume that this game runs the way that it's supposed to. All right, cool. So what I want to do is, all right, we're going to, I want to make a new project, and I don't know if I can make this public yet. So what we're going to do, let's quit this out. Let's quit out of Unity now that this sort of works. And we're going to create a new copy of this, and we're going to call this Super Zombie Runner GameOn. GameOn edition. And my goal for today is to try to get at least like a persistent high score leaderboard working and see how that works. There's a few things that I still am trying to figure out about the service. So it just came out, GameOn. And what we'll do is let's open up Chrome. And let's go to developer.amazon.com. And against my better judgment, I'm going to log in. It's okay. That's my personal email. It's all good. I should probably just create a. Yeah, sure. Save that. I should probably create a separate email for when I live stream. But let's live on the edge. All right. So. Here's the Amazon App Store dashboard. I'm going to go to GameOn, and I was starting to set up some competitions yesterday. Let's go to Super Zombie Runner. So the first thing that I need to do is I'm going to need to create a competition, and then we're going to need to get that competition's ID and load it all up. So we're going to create a competition, and we're going to call this global. We're going to just call this high scores. And one of the things about the way that this works, at least the way that I'm starting to get, let me actually go into Amazon GameOn. Let me just go to the docs. So read the docs. Yes, I will read the docs. Maybe. I've been slowly reading the docs. I'm one of those developers. I'm probably like every developer, but I can't read instructions. Like, I have to just build things the way that my gut tells me to, and it sometimes actually like works. It completely works against me. So I've been playing around with GameOn, but because I wasn't reading the docs, I wasn't doing very well. So today we're gonna try to just actually do this the right way. Sorry, what is it? It's 10 o'clock here, so we're gonna start a competition at 10:40. It's going to take me some time to go through this. 10:45, and we're gonna end this at 2019. So we'll make this competition for a year. I think when you start a competition, you can't actually stop it. So, and then we're gonna add some other stuff here. So the maximum number of players is going to be 1 billion. And the maximum number of attempts per player is 1 billion. Now, if somebody plays my game 1 billion times, I'd be super happy. All right, so the highest score wins. Best single score wins. Great. I'm not doing any prizes. User-facing text, subtitle, description, metadata. So these are all things that we could add into here. I'm not going to add any of this stuff. Customization. Repeat this competition at scheduled intervals. Oh, that's cool. I think I want to do that instead. Let's repeat this every week, starting on Sunday. Choose the days of the week. I want every day of the week. Wait. On Sunday. Wait, what's today? Tuesday, right? Well, we'll just do this. We'll just end this competition on Sunday. All right, I think I want to do this instead. What we'll do is every week we'll just have like a weekly competition for whoever get the high score, and we'll make this repeat. So let's save the changes. And so let's go back here and let's set this from here to 18, 5, 8. Where are we? We're at May. We'll have it end on Sunday, and I guess it'll just repeat every Sunday. And we want it to start on May 8th. Oh, here we go. I see what's going on. All right. We'll have it end on Sunday. Please, start date and end date was in the past. That's why I set it to 10:45, because I knew it was going to take me some time to configure this thing. All right, so we're going to set this weekly. It ends on... No, I don't want it to end. Sure, we'll make it end in 2019. All right, then, you know what? Forget this. This isn't working the way that I want it to do. I don't want this to repeat. We're just going to make this end in 2019. So we're going to have a 1-year leaderboard. And then all I want is one place to sort of sum up the high scores. Like, let me open up Unity. Oops, I opened up the wrong version of Unity. How many developers have like 1 million version of Unities on their computer? Raise your hands. I'll do a count. You can chime in on the chat. Let's see, Unity. I was trying to use the Unity hub, but it has like a weird bug when it tries to install itself. It doesn't install the Unity app in the right place, and it can't find it. So now I have to still do it by hand. All right, project Super Zombie Game On. All right, Super Zombie Runner Game On. We're going to have it redo this. And while that loads up, let's close out this Pomodoro. So I rebuilt Jump and Shoot Man, and I'm starting to work on Super Zombie Runner. And cool, this is fascinating. Why is there an error in the project that just opened before? SNL file stream. I don't know what any of that means. All right, whatever, Unity. All right, so Super Zombie Runner. Let's add some tasks. So what we're going to do today is we're going to create a high score leaderboard. Import GameOn code. Then we're going to test out submitting score to leaderboard. That's my goal for today. These 3 tasks. Let's unpin Jump and Shoot Man, and for the next few days, we're going to work on this. I'm heading out to the office in California for the team that creates GameOn next week. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to take a nice deep dive into the API so I can give them some practical feedback from. Well, I guess I'm a coder. I'm still a coder at this point in my life. I code every day, so. All right, time. What are we looking on time? All right, I'm still futzing around with this. So let's set this to 10:50. It won't let you create a competition in the past. So, yeah. All right, so we're not gonna have it repeat. Entry requirements. Select which players can enter the competition. I wonder what custom does. Add a group. I don't want to add a group. We'll just do all. Visibility required. Select which players can view the competition. All players can. Choose number of leaderboards. Choose single leaderboards to have all players on a single leaderboard. Choose multiple leaderboards to split players into smaller groups. No, we're going to do everyone. The amount of people that play my games is pretty low, so I'm not terribly worried about overloading the GameOn servers. Password protected, no, and prize release, sure. We're not going to add any prizes to it, at least not now. All right, so in summary, we are creating a new competition. The competition is going to last for a year. It will start at 10:50 a.m. Eastern Time. We will have 1 billion maximum players with 1 billion maximum player attempts. Highest score wins, best single score, no prizes, and I don't feel like I customized anything. So there we go. So let's publish this competition. Bam, we did it. We created our first competition. Well, it's actually like my fourth because I've been testing. So let's go here and view the details. So what we need to do is, let's go to leaderboard. What we need to do is get this match ID. And I'm going to import some code I've been working on with Peter, who is our one of our other evangelists at App Store. Let's see, where is that project? All right, so before I even do any of that, I'm going to go into here and I'm going to delete the old GitHub stuff, the old Git stuff, and we're going to create a new Git repo for this guy. Status git init, git add all, git status. All right, so this should give me everything. I still left the git ignore, so that'll help. Let's do git commit initial import, and cool, everything is clean. So what we're going to do is we're going to do git branch v 1.1. We'll just do 0.1. I don't know. This is technically a 1.1 version. So 1.1. Fine. This is a pre 1.0 release. So we're going to add in the leaderboards, and then we'll consider this a 1.0 game. So generally, when I build a game or any project, I work on a certain type of nomenclature for each of my branches. And what I do is I start with the main branch, and then I create a new branch that's going to be the version number and the features I'm going to add. So in this case, we're going to create this branch, git branch. What we'll see is we're now in master. We're going to git check out v 1.0.0 features. And now if we check our branch again, we should now be in the correct branch. And then when I'm done with all my code, what I do is I merge this branch back into master, tag master as v1.00, and then I'll create a new v.1.0 features branch, and then I sort of do that and keep merging everything back into master. So, all right, so this is good to go now. What I want to do is I had copied over some computer. I copied over some computer from my code. I copied over some code from my computer, from the other side of my computer. I have two accounts in here. This is my streaming account, and then I have my personal account. This way, like, my wife's texts don't show up, like telling me to take out the trash or do whatever it is I'm supposed to do at home. All right, so we have a game scene, plugin scripts. All right, so this is a project that Peter had created, which is just a basic harness. So the GameOn itself is a collection of raw APIs. And what Peter has been working on, sort of with my input, which is me basically asking him to add stuff, is he's just been turning these all into like request classes so that we can use it in Unity. And I'm going to take this project, which I had previously working, I'm going to put it into my assets folder, and I'm going to paste this here, and we're going to call this this guy GameOn. And this is just going to store all of the code that I'm using to help me enable GameOn. So the idea is that basically when you build GameOn or add it to your own project, you can add it however you want. Here's the API references, right? So it's basically these post and get stuff. So we came up with this when we were building out the demo for GDC, and it's the project. It works. It's just it's only for testing. So up, and Unity crashed. All right, that was awesome. Unity's doing great today. Why did it crash? I'm so confused. Hold on, let me go to plugins here. Let me get rid of. I've noticed like the JetBrains plugin sometimes like it sometimes messes things up when you start a new project, especially if there's two. There was probably two versions of it because I copied it from another project. So let's try this again. So while this loads up, our goal is we're going to create the way that I was sort of playing around with Peter's code, and from my understanding of it. No, oh my God, are we doing this today? Let's just remove the JetBrains thing again, and like hope that's the problem. Glad to see Unity 2018 is stable. That's the release candidate, by the way. All right, let's try this again. I don't know if I have to like update Rider or something. Who knows? Well, let's see. Let's see if it was that. I did run this in Unity 2018 yesterday. So, all right. I think that is it. I think it's saying with the. I think it's saying with Rider's plugin. All right. Let's try to open up C# again and then have it rebuild the Rider plugin. By the way, if you don't know, Rider, JetBrains makes really awesome software. I've used their stuff for years now, going all the way back to the Flash days. And they created a C#, a cross-platform C# editor called Rider, which is what I use on the Mac, and it's awesome. A Visual Studio for the Mac and Xamarin Studio previously just aren't that. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of them, and this Rider is like all the best parts of ReSharper, which is like the only reason I was using a piece. I got to the point where I was only using Windows for ReSharper, and I was like, you know what? I might as well just go back to the Mac and just use Rider. All right, so it loaded my it automatically installed the plugin. Let's see how this holds up this time. All right, Rider plugin initialized. Great. Let's quit this out. I'm gonna actually quit Rider again, and let's just relaunch this and make sure that everything is working, and then we can write some code. All right, Super Zombie Runner Game On. Probably do some we'll do like a little like banner or something. Wait, what? Oh, it's a Super Zombie Runner. We should put something that like says Game On Edition. We'll get to that. Let's add it to the task list so we don't forget. Branding is important. Come on, what do you? So my Mac is like super confused as to where I am right now because I'm trying to use full screen. Add Game On Edition to splash screen title. Perfect. We'll eventually get around to that. Let's make Unity full screen too. And all right, so where are we? All right, so at this point, we now have Peter's GameOn code, and what I want to do is rebuild this. Hey, welcome to the stream, Elise. All right, so if I look at his game scene, he created a program. He has this test program, and he creates a duels game API, and then this is the keys and everything for my project. So what I'm going to do is let's go and add this to. Let's go back to our scene here. So GameOn. Actually, I want Super Zombie Runner scenes, and we're going to go to the game scene. And, excuse me. All right, so this game feels so slow now compared to Jump and Shoot Man. All right, so when we die, we're going to get all these high scores, right? And what we want to do is we want to get this final score. We're going to submit this final score, and we're going to try to figure out the rank. I don't know how that all works yet. Again, I have to read the docs a little bit more. But, all right, so we should be able to at least submit this score. That's our goal for today. So what we're going to do is on the game manager, we're going to add GameOn. What did he call it? Hold on, I gotta go back to this scene now. Why don't we just copy this game? There we go, game API. Let's copy this component and paste that in the scene. All right, so game manager, we're going to come here and we're going to paste this component as new. So what this component does is it gives me a path to the GameOn APIs. It gives me a key. Now, the key, which I probably shouldn't be showing, maybe not. I don't know, whatever. We're all friends here. The key is going to be this public key, or sorry, this public API key. And then this is the public key itself. Right? Am I doing that right? 38B79. Yep. Okay, cool. So that will configure GameOn. And then what we need to do is start the process of when a new game gets created, we are going to automatically enter the player into the high score tournament. And what we could actually do, we'll probably do it when the game scores. I think I wrote some code for high scores, so scoring. Yeah, so if I remember correctly, when we were doing this before, I created I believe I created an online rank. I created some interfaces for classes that was gonna actually use GameOn. And what I want to do is Super Zombie Runner. Let's see here. Scoring stats. Okay, so when calculate rank, what we're going to do here is I believe that this is the stat, this is the rank color. Add ordinal, generate stats text, update display, final score, get achievements. What I want to do is I want to make sure that Show game over summary. All right, let's. I just want to make sure that we only call this when a game is over. So let's do print submit final score. Or actually, what we're gonna, we'll do it here. This is fine for right now. So let's go here. Let's run the game, and let's just make sure that we only show that we only show this when the player dies, which should be like right here. All right, submit final score. That is our plan. Let's see. Now, generate stat text. Now, I think one of the things that I do is I look to make sure that the game is right. If the game is over, what we also want to do is go through and we're going to create other leaderboards. So we're going to do something like this. Print submit score for stat. And we might as well just there's one like really annoying bug in Writer, like it doesn't, like the scroll bars don't show up at the bottom. Padding color to string get stat value. Let's just pull this out real quick here, and we're gonna do stat value. Our stat value. You're probably like, hey, why don't you just like jump right in and start adding the leaderboards? Well, I want to make sure that I have all this stuff organized and I can remember what each thing does, because if not, it's just going to be a problem. So measure twice, cut once is my motto. All right, so we'll rerun this game, and what we're going to do is the eventual goal is to actually get the player's ranking for all of the stats. So what you'll see is here we're looking for time, steps taken, zombies, obstacles, max combos, zombie dog, and the final score is going to be submit a score of 20. So submit final score and then the score 20. All right, perfect. So then we'll go back through and we'll add some other stuff. And I just noticed that in Unity 2018, check the debug method, which gets rid of if checked method. I noticed that in Unity, Elise has added a comment here. Change the debug method, which get rid of if checked method. Oh, I don't know what that is. All right. He's going to find some tweet or something for me. All right, so we'll restart the game. And let's just try to get like a little bit of a higher score. All the ranks, by the way, are... all the ranks are made up. It's just randomly assigning a rank here. But I just wanted to make sure that this always gets calculated once. So if I was to stop the game, pause it, you see the stats, but we're not calculating the place of the player. And this is like the most basic, bare bone like way I could think of implementing GameOn right now, is just like, hey, I got a game. I just want to have a basic contest to see who, or a competition that basically says who's the best player out of a set of given stats. Then once we get this sort of working, then I'll start getting into like, hey, every week we have a weekly competition, and we could do some other stuff. Because those we're gonna let the player choose, and I have to build all the UI and everything for that. So, all right, tweeting. Sorry, seeing tweets come in. Now my brain's like, I can't focus on two things at the same time. All right, let's die, and let's just make sure that all the stats are updating correctly. So our total time was 45 seconds. We've taken 75 steps. We've avoided 2 zombies. We've jumped over 24 obstacles. We have a max combo of 0, and we've avoided 1 dog for a final score of 491. All right, cool. We now have everything we need in order to. Take a look at adding in GameOn. So what I want to do is I want to open up Program. And what we're going to look for is in Program. This program is basically what runs and authenticates everything. I have to look at what this stuff requires. Player name and advertising ID. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to copy this stuff out, and we're going to move this vertically, close this out, online rank, stats. All right, what I want to do is when the game loads up, I want to get them to enter the contest. And then let's see, where is our stats class? All right, so all right, when our stats class basically comes online, what we're going to do is register GameOn here and then enter them into the main competition. So let's take a look at what we could do here. This is Game Object Utility, Get Singleton, Stats Manager, Get Component, I Retrieve Rank. Now, where does this guy live? That's Game API, Game Manager, Canvas, Stats. All right, here's our stats class. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy this component, remove this component, and put it on our stats game object. And then now what we can do is we're going to copy out this stuff real quick, which is a bunch of test code that it's a bunch of test code that Peter had written, and start. And what we're going to do is create a new, what are these? We don't need the admin API stuff. We just need the game API. Find game API. All we need to do is this, game object dot get component. Actually, we're going to call get component game API, and then what we need to do is create a new private enumerator, set up game on. Or actually what we're going to do is initialize. We'll call this initialize. And the reason why we're putting this into an enumerator is that a lot of this stuff doesn't happen, well, it happens asynchronous, right? So what we're doing is we want to authenticate. We're going to call this, how do I authenticate a player's name? How do we give this player a unique name? let's call this Super Zombie Runner Game On. All right, what I don't know right now, let's take a look at how I can give this person a unique name. So if I look at Authenticate, there should be an API that matches Authenticate. Authenticate and create a new player session. So information required to authenticate the player. Oh, it's been so long since I've done like web stuff. I need to. Where are the arguments that go into this? Parameters. Header, content, application, string. The game API is provided. Information required to authenticate the player. Auth player thing. Well, I'm trying to figure out. I don't know if it should be if the player's name should always be unique. All right, cool. It's optional. So we don't need to worry about that. So we could add something later on that lets the player. We'll just call it no name runner. All right, I'm going to add it to do. Should we let the player name add a name? All right, and then the next thing we're going to do is update display. So as soon as we initialize this, we're just going to allow it to update the display, and that's sort of independent of this. What we need to figure out, like, there are some things that we could probably do to make sure that if this failed, it actually did something more meaningful than just what it does. I don't know what Peter added here. Response text. I don't know if he has a I don't know if he does anything for authentication, whether it works or not. But all right, so there's something else that we need to do here with the authentication. Basically, once we authenticate, it's going to save the player's authentication here in the player prefs. And all right, it should output a bunch of stuff. So let's just see if this works. So what we're going to do is start coroutine initialize, and we'll give this a run. All right, so, whoops, a whole bunch of stuff. Screen position out of, what is that? What are these errors, Unity? Oh my God, I've never, like, it's just, every time it's like I use a new version of Unity, it's broken. All right, we'll deal with that later. What's more important is that can get rank is set to true. We now have all of the information, disposable certificate handler on dispose, whatever this stuff is. This must be the callback. And then post Unity web request. So, all right, we now are able to, the player is registered. So let's rerun this again. And now it will have saved the previous request, and it'll just go again, and there shouldn't be an error. So, all right. What I don't understand, the only error that we're getting is I don't know why Unity's clipping is broken all of a sudden. Screen position out of view, frustrum. Huh? What is going on? Where does that error come from? All right, I don't know. Unity itself the IDE is throwing an error, and I don't understand what it's doing. Okay, cool. Oh, there, it just did it again. Let me see if is it only that green. Let me see if it's only this green zombie. Nope. Dog zombie. Trying to keep track of what goes off screen. All right. I would really love to know what is going on here. Let's play this for a few more minutes. I just want to see if there's like a particular object or something that's corrupted when it goes off screen and it throws that error. No, I'm dead. Okay, cool. Whatever. Oh, it just did it. What's that error? Is it when the game's over? I have to look that up. That's going to drive me nuts because I can't have it throwing a bunch of errors like that while I'm trying to actually like add a real feature to my game. Ah, Unity. So now I gotta wait for it to do that error again. It's fine, we're playtesting. I shouldn't have cleared it. Two, 3, 4. Huh. I don't know what's causing that bug. Really weird. At least I'm ranking up the combos. No, and I'm dead. All right. Well, I don't know. Next time we see that error, I'll try to debug it. There we go. Let's see what the Google Oracle has to say. Screen position out of view frustrum. Screen position out of view. Try this for him. The page is not found. Right click on the scene tab and close it, then right click on any other tab and open the scene again. That fixed it for me. Say serious. Delete the main camera and create a new one. Create the new camera and delete the previous one, and the errors seem to go away for now. Yep. That sounds like a typical Unity fix. All right, sure. Let me create a new camera in my scene. Game object. I've never had to rebuild a camera before. Paste component is new. Copy component and main camera. Paste component values. What am I missing here? This component is part of the legacy system. All right. Am I like missing something here? Like, where's my game? Where's my camera? I have a feeling I have to put the UI in the main camera. There we go. All right, let me delete this camera and restart the game. Cool. Nothing is displaying. That's awesome. Is there something else I need to do for the display? Is there something else I need to do in order to make this work? I don't remember anything about camera stuff in Unity. Here we go. Tagged as main camera. Main camera. 0, 0, -10. Delete. I guess it was just not in the right position. I can't remember if okay, cool. I couldn't remember if my pixel perfect camera stuff actually reset the camera values or not, and apparently it didn't. All right, so we'll just give it another round real quick. Then I'm going to close out this Pomodoro, and then we're going to add the player into. So basically, when we start up our stat manager, we're going to add him to. We're going to add the player, him or her. We're going to add the player into the contest. All right, so let's stop this here and. Let's do this. All right, so we stopped this. What are we doing here? We created a high score leaderboard. We imported the GameOn code, and now we're add GameOn in addition to. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get this into actually submitting a score. So let's see how Peter set up this code. Now, if I go to program and I was looking at enter a match. What I'm going to do is here's what I got to remember. I sort of locked myself out of the scoring yesterday because I didn't save the match ID. What I want to do is we're going to look for the tournament. Remember, there's going to eventually be a whole bunch of different tournaments, and what I want to do is test enter tournament first. Test get tournament list. Test add requirements. Test add prizes. All right, we don't need any of this. These are all Peter's tests from his demo. I'm going to. What I want to do is get a tournament list. So the next step is we're going to call. What I can't remember is when we get a tournament, start coroutine, test enter tournament. We enter the tournament, match ID. The tournament's going to give us back a match ID. And then we need to use that match ID to submit the score. All right, so let's do this. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the list of tournaments. Uninitialize, we update the display. The next thing we're going to do is get the tournament list. Or actually what we could probably do is we're going to enter, well, I think I want to enter all the tournaments. So we're automatically going to enter the player into the tournaments, at least for right now. So let me see here. What did I do? When I did enter match, tournaments. We're going to create a new list. Tournament list. All right, so here we are creating, we're going to call get tournament list, and once we get the tournament list, we are going to create the tournaments. We're going to then enter the tournament. So what we need to do is test get tournament list. Let's bring this over here. Because we need to create a new, it's like, I don't know what the proper design pattern is for, I've not done a lot of web request stuff in Unity, and it's been years since I've done like real request stuff or web request stuff. So I don't know if this design pattern makes sense, but right now we're going for minimum viable product, and then we will go from there. So what we're just going to do is we're going to get the tournament list. And when we get the tournament list, we're going to run through this. I also didn't spell tournament correctly. And then to do enter tournaments. All right, so the next thing, so what we're going to do is get tournament list, test get tournament list. I feel like I can simplify, I can refactor this a little bit. Get tournament requests. Like I feel like this should just be I feel like I want to do this and get rid of his test method. And what I want to do is get tournament lists to do enter tournaments to do display message at bottom that GameOn works. And here, what we're going to do is to do display error message. Because now that we're dealing with a web app, or at least some sort of online component, we need to make sure that if the player doesn't have an internet connection, we're going to have to disable all this stuff and only run it when the player has an internet connection. So get tournament list. We'll limit the request to 10. That's fine. All right. So this is a request that Peter created that allows me to get the tournament request list. Then this is going to yield and return this. And if it's found, it's going to call this handle. All right. So let's just see if this works. The next step in this process is we're going to initialize, we're going to authenticate, and then once we authenticate, we're going to get the tournament list. Right? And actually what we need to do is start coroutine, get tournament list, and let's just run this. Basically what it should do now is it'll say that it found, for each tournament, it's going to say that it found a tournament by its title and its tournament ID. And then it's going to add this to our list. And what we'll do is once we add our tournament to our list, we're gonna create a we're gonna have to enter the tournament and create a match. So let's run this and see if we get our tournament. All right. Can get rank. Request platform. So it doesn't look like it called this. Get tournament request list. Let's try this again. If you're just tuning in, I'm adding competitions to my game. Yeah, it didn't like this idea. Why? Why is this not working? I don't know. I haven't used coroutines that much either. So I don't know if when I do the return yield, I think that it ends there. Oops. Let's see here. Yeah, that's the problem, is that it's not it hits that return yield. So let me see something to authenticate. I don't know why Peter didn't add. I mean, a lot of this is just him just like messing around code. I wonder, is null response return request text if null response session API if null doesn't equal response. That's weird. I wonder why he does it in reverse like that. Text response, authenticate response from JSON text, sync post, on action, on failure. All right, here's what I want to do. I want to pass in. He has it down here. I guess it's just not on this one. Again, this was his test harness. I want to add two action. I want to add this action on success and action on error. So if I put this here in advertising ID, come on. What we'll do is on this sync post, we have the request, and we're going to pass in I can't remember how to call an action. We're gonna do two things here. First off, on success. Can you just call on success? Response. So what if we try doing this? What if we do on success? No, we can do it this way. We're going to take the response, we're going to set it equal to whatever this thing is that parses the JSON, and then we're just going to call on success, and we're going to pass back in the response, which is an auth player response, action on player response. So what? And then null text. I wonder why text is why it's set to text. I don't. There's a lot I don't really understand about what Peter is doing here, but let's do. I mean, what I'm really good at is I'm good at taking other people's code and hacking it to work. So I'll figure this out. All right, on error. All right, so then this should just call the sync post should just call this action. This is going to call this, which is a lambda for an action, which will set the response here equal to this. And on success, it's going to call false. And I don't know why this should be unreachable. I think that's like the way that I understand how this yield return works. But all right. So now what we're going to do is we now need to pass this, and then we're going to make request equals again. I'm just looking at how he success error equals all right. So here we're going to do debug.log error authenticating player. Eventually what we'll do is we're going to go back through and we're going to replace, you know, we should just do it right now. Let me add this to my list. We need to do a few things. First off, we need to route all stats class messages through the display. Expose display message API or methods to stats class. Basically what that means is that we in the game we have it's going to have an error. There's like a message bar at the bottom here. You can sort of see it here, and we're gonna basically use that message bar in order to we'll use that message bar in order to actually make everything work. All right, let's do that. All right, so what we're doing is we're sort of just like nesting all of these callbacks inside of each other, right? So we're going to start by authenticating. If there's a success, we'll do debug log authenticated player. Let's try running this and just see if it works. What are my meetings for the day? Let me just, while I wait, oh, it's already recompiled. I have a meeting. All right. That works. Let me just see my messages real quick. It's the joy of trying to it's always fun trying to balance work and trying to do a live stream. And the irony is that if I don't do the live stream, I don't get the viewers. And if I don't get the viewers, I don't do my job. I think this is my job. That's what evangelism is anyways. All right, so what we need to do is program start, not all code pass return. Here's what we're gonna do. Let's just modify this here. Well, let me do null. Doesn't like that idea. All right, there we go. Basically, it's like I'm changing the underlying code so it doesn't like this idea. So I have to fix Peter's test harness. All right, so what we're looking for is we're looking to see that it outputs now that we've succeeded in authenticating the player. And I feel like I didn't see that. Authenticated player. What is going on? Am I like just not calling something correctly here? Initialize, start coroutine, initialize. This would go a lot easier if I actually knew what I was doing with all these web requests. But this is sort of how I learn things anyways. It's just, I usually take a project that I sort of know works and I'll just rip it apart and put it back together again. All right, now I'm getting frustrated. Why is this not... Why am I not able to call this return? All right, so this got called. So now let's take a look back in the game API. And let's see if this gets called here. Why didn't this get called? Sync post. HTTP post request, request JSON, HTTP post request, an on success and an on failure. All right, let's just dig deeper into this stuff, right? On success. Here's the HTTP request. So on success is going to get called. I wish writers scroll bars would work. On success string on failure. So here it calls on success. What is... Send web request. Let's just see if this gets called. Like, it says it's working. So I'm just really baffled as to why this isn't running. Because my understanding of how this should work is that we should... All right, this... We're calling this, and then it doesn't make it anywhere over here, huh? Let me try this again. My understanding is that if this is all asynchronous, it should only work when... All right, we get here, yield return request. Is done. Return. And then we're looking here to see, is HTTP error? This is false. So it should... I don't think I can put I don't think I can put that there. On success. So it calls that game API text print success. Maybe it's not calling this back even though it is succeeding. Maybe my brain hurts. All right, we're calling this, but then this request doesn't get called. Sync post. Request action string. I want to see, I always want to make sure this action getting passed in is valid. Then maybe I need to go into then oh my god, telemarketer is calling me. My headphones it took over my whole headphones. Then what I got to figure out is do this yield return on success. So here's our action. On success is an action, which is a method and a delegator and blah, blah, blah. All right, play. Oh my God, I have no clue what I'm doing. This is fun. Why is this if string is null or empty token? Register player. I wonder if we get the. I wonder if I'm just not getting here because I've already registered the player. I'm willing to bet you that might be the problem because Peter's code saved the first request for the player. And we go here. Yep, okay, that was the problem. It's going here. So what we need to do is when we register the player, on register player, we're just going to call success. On register player. No. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to call on success on both cases. The first time we're going to call it, we're going to pass back in the request if it came from the request. If not, we're going to pass in null, and then we're just going to ignore that anyways. All right. Let's see if this works. This should now work. It's like having a moment where I'm like, it's like that's the best part of programming. It's like you get these moments where you're like, you get really scared. You're like, God, am I ever going to be able to figure this out? And then all of a sudden, eventually, things sort of work out. Let's see. Let's see if it works out for me. Nope. Not today, buddy. Not today. What's going on? On success. I know it's calling that. We just debugged it. It just got to that area. Authenticate player. What is going on? Register player. This is a response. All right, I think, I don't know why, I'm not sure why Peter's stuff is not consistent. Like everything should have a callback. Like the way that it works in my mind is like you make one call and you're like, all right, the first thing we're going to do is we want to authenticate the player. Then that should return something, and then we could pass a method into that. So when that happens, it triggers another method, which triggers another method, and this sort of goes down the chain as it builds up a queue of actions to run. So here's on success, which should call this. Then it calls this. It's saying success is null. Debug authenticated player. We move on and we now register the player and we move on. So now I come here and it should say authenticated player. Okay, I missed the command. Perfect. All right, so now that we've authenticated the player, we want to get the tournament lists. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make these methods instead of all these like stupid lambdas. So private void on authentic player. On authenticate player, we need to do a response. Right? Isn't that what this thing is called? Auth player response. Auth player response. All right, so now we're going to pass this in, pull this out, and get rid of this. And now that will call this as an action, and here we're going to call authenticate player. Let's put a few exclamation marks in there so it's clear to see. And then what we're going to do is we'll pull out this stuff, and we're just going to go down the chain. So we're going to start by, we're going to initialize, then we're going to authenticate the player, and then from there we're going to get the tournament list. Then we're going to enter the player into the first tournament. Then we're going to get the match. And then after that, we can submit scores every time the player plays. Woo! That is a lot of steps. But once I sort of figure this out, it'll work out. All right, I still have the debugger on. Let me stop the debugger. Get rid of these breakpoints, and we should now get authenticate player. Perfect. All right. Slowly making progress, but at least we're moving forward. So now we have authenticated the player. Everything is good. What gets called after we authenticate? Then we're just passing out these web post stuff. All right, don't worry about that. Next, what we want to do is we're going to start a new coroutine called get tournament list. And this should now go through the tournament list and output everything we need. And then private void on tournament list. What does this have to be? List of tournaments. This is going to be a list of tournaments. And then here, we're going to update the display finally. And we're going to take all this code out of here, put it here. Tournaments. I need to get the spell checker working on I need to get spell checker working in Writer because I can't spell to save my life. Where the hell is that list? Here we go. We don't need this list. We're just going to pass this list. We're going to pass it down the chain. So, all right, we are authenticating the player. When we've done authenticating the player, we're going to get the list of tournaments. Once we've gotten the list of tournaments, we're going to say that we're getting the list. We're going to have this here. And then we're going to call on tournament list. And we're going to pass in this. Well, actually, we can just call it like this, and then that list is automatically going to get passed in. And then tournament get success, and then it's going to find it, and then it's going to update the display. Perfect. Eventually, what's going to happen is that when we go into the high scores, it's going to show you other tournaments to get into, but we're not worried about that right now. All right, so doesn't look like that worked. Authenticate player, get list. We got the list. Tournaments and tournaments for each. All right, let's see if I just am not passing, if I'm not passing that incorrectly through the lambda or the callback or whatever the technical jargon is for this. All right, so that didn't even get called. What? Get list. On tournaments. I just have a feeling like get tournaments in the request. Get requests. On tournament list, request, log, tournament, get error. Did I get an error? There's no tournament get error. All right, let's take a look at what this is. Get tournament list request. Base is tournament request. That's not it. Huh. All right, so that's the request. Is limit, player attributes, period, filter, game API, get tournament list. On success. Pass back in tournaments as a list. Text on success. Maybe I need to do something like this. Oh, it doesn't like that. T. Only assignable call increment to a new object can be assigned to a statement. All right, convert to a method group. Sure. All right, that's what I did before. What's going on? Why is this not getting called? On success, tournament list response from JSON. All right, let's see if this gets called, and then we'll go from there. Well, I'm really muddling through this. I'm hoping that my plan for today was to get all the hard stuff done, which is just like understanding how web APIs would work in Unity. And then once I get this going, it shouldn't be as bad. Get tournament list. So here we are, get tournament list. Let's see if this will actually work. We come here, and then nothing. All right, so let me undo all this stuff real quick. and let me get it back to where it was just a embedded lambda here. All right, let's just put this here. So on authenticate player, great. Get the tournament list. Let's try this again. Ugh. All right, so I don't see any tournaments. It calls get list, but then it's not working. What am I missing here? Let me just go back to Peter's test code. Maybe I like modified too many things while I wasn't paying attention. Test tournament list. All right, let's get rid of this and let's do this. All right, so now 18,000th time is the charm. All right, let me stop the debugger. All right, so not cool. Can get rank true. Authenticated player. Still not calling this stupid thing. What am I missing here? Initialized. Is there something in the test data here that I'm in this program that I'm not doing? Let's see. Let's just make sure that we get a session ID. So we started this. We're going to initialize this. And on authenticate player, we're going to get the session ID. We're going to print get tournament list. Then we're going to run this. So here we're getting tournament list. There's no session ID or session API key. So that's weird. Authenticate API, game API, authenticate. I'm going to switch back over to the test project for a second and see if this works. Let me close out this Pomodoro for a second and then I'm going to go look at Peter's test and make sure that this still runs. See if I broke something. Nope, it's still, this works fine. It gets the session ID and the key. There's no tournament after it has ended. All right, let's go back, and I'm just going to copy this exactly like how he has it, and then we'll work backwards. I thought I was going to be able to just like sort of hack this together, but apparently that's not going to be the case. So get tournament list on enable. All right, I'm going to go back to the very beginning. We'll just revert the last hour of coding. Because hey, what else we got to do, right? All right, so let's start this, and we're going to get the game API. I'm just going to copy this exactly how I have it here. Then we're going to do this for start. We don't need this because this actually works. And let's just make this a IE numerator. Sure. Then start coroutine. Get tournament list. Let's paste this in here. We need test tournament list. Test enter. We're not going to enter it. I just want to print out the tournaments. And then we need to make a list for all the tournaments. Fine. There we go. Okay, so let's run this. If you guys are just tuning in, I'm adding GameOn, which is Amazon's new competitive game service API, to my game, but I don't know much about how. I don't really know much about how to use like web requests and stuff in Unity, so I'm sort of struggling through this. But I will get this to work. We'll just forget the fact that I just had to undo all the code from before. All right, well, it says I can get rank equals true, but I don't think that does anything. What? Let me go back to my original plan, which was to actually just do exactly what this thing did. Again, I'm not following my own advice. Enter match. Let's just enter this match and see what happens. No, forget this. This is wrong. This should work. For some should work, damn it. What am I doing wrong here? Start competition, get to tournament list. Enter match. All right, let's see if we get the session ID. What am I missing here? Why does Peter's stuff... This is IEnumerate start. Let me make this public. Huh. What is going on here? Why isn't this getting called? Am I just like so frustrated right now that I can't see that? No, it doesn't look like it. Oh my God. Is this even working? Well, this is 100% my lack of understanding of how to do basic web requests. All right, so we're getting the game component API. We're going here. And then it return yields. So why does return yield still continue here, but it doesn't in my app? Oh man, I'm like going nuts here. I don't know why Peter's code works, but mine doesn't. What is going on? Is it has something to do with the fact that now I wonder if this has something to do with no. In the authentication, there's a thing where it saves the token. Let me get rid of that real quick. Let me try restarting it. It like saves the token and then it nope, I'm going nuts. What is going on? Projects. All right, I'm gonna go back to Peter's code again. And in this, instead of on this program, instead of entering a match, I am just going to start a coroutine that gets the list of tournaments. And let's disable this and save this and get rid of this and run this. A lot of this is. Tournament, get success, high score. Everything is working here. Tournament high score. All right, Peter, what did we do on this class for program that I am incapable of reproducing? So I am duplicating this down to everything. We have mono behavior. It is a mono behavior. Mine's is called program. It's a public class. We have a game API, a list of tournaments. I don't need the... you know what? Let's test something out. Do I need to do the admin API? Let's see if I don't configure the admin API, if that shouldn't have any effect on anything, because I'm not doing anything with the admin panel. Oh, okay. So we are going to create a public tournament. Let's get rid of this. Now in start, I think I'm just going to copy all this code out. I'm going to like disable this whole class. Well, I don't know if I need to. Stats manager, rank retriever. New string builder. All right, so we get the API. We call this. I'm just literally just going to copy. I mean, we'll copy out to here. Right? So rank retriever, great. All this stuff is awesome, great. I'm pasting this down exactly how it is in the other class. All the other stuff is here. Get tournament list. Same code. Haven't modified anything. Perfect. Test tournament list. Should be the same exact thing. All right, now let's rerun this and see what is going on. So if I come back here to projects and I come here to our scenes and go to game scene. What I want to do on the canvas is let's go to stats and I want to make sure that I have the right keys for everything. All right, I got the right keys. I got this script. Game API. There's no game API. This should now set it to the game API. All right. Let's go to the console. Ah, and I got the screen position crap back again. Oh my God, what is going on? Why does this scene not work? What am I missing? What am I missing? What is in here? All right, disposable handler, disposable, whatever this is, dispose chunk. I don't even know what all this crap is. Update. I'm looking to see if there's some sort of assets GameOn script dual service API 80. Start coroutine sync. Service API 69. Engine invoke move next. All right. I don't know what that means. I'm kind of curious if I move. Let me see if I can copy this and move this to the game manager. Maybe there's something weird about being a component. Paste component is new. Copy component, game manager, paste is new. And then on this stats component, we need a text field. So make this public. Get rid of this. Online rank. All right, let's copy this component. Copy component, put this on the game manager. paste component is new. And now in stats, let's remove this component, remove this component, and remove this one. And now I'm going to rerun this and see if this will actually work. All right, so it didn't do... Ah, look at that. It's working now. Whoa, what is up? What is up with that? All right, so apparently there's something weird with this component, that it wasn't working as a nested child, or who the hell knows what. Maybe the canvas doesn't initialize things the same way. So what we need to do is let's get the game manager stats and do text here and game API here. Then we don't have to actually do this here. Wow. Talk about like an hour of being frustrated for no apparent reason other than Unity. Whoa. I am pretty pissed off right now. All right, well, at least we got the high scores. All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break and go like scream into a pillow. And then when I come back, what we're going to do is we're now able to find the tournament. Everything works great. It looks like there was just something really weird about coroutines on an object inside of a canvas. I have no clue what that was. But now that we have it back on the root of our project, that's fine. I just... Oh my God. I want to scream. All right, so I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break, and then... Where's the text thing? Let's get rid of that. And it's weird that I have two audio monitor things. Whatever. Okay, so let's just do this. Back at... We'll do 12:30. I had to go walk away for a second, or I'm gonna like scream. All right, so I'll be right back. Once I'm back, we'll add our first high score, and we'll see if we get this actually working. So I shall return. All right, I'm back. I'm so angry right now. Unity like drives me nuts. It's like being in an abusive relationship because it's just it never treats me right. It's always mean to me. All right, I got to. All right, now I've sort of taken a breath. What we're gonna do is go through. I want to actually. I sort of want to revert back all the code that I got rid of, but this works now. So let's just do this. We're gonna call this no name runner. We're gonna call this super zombie runner game on. When this has succeeded, we've authenticated our player. Let's move this now into here, which will get us a tournament list. And let's move this into here as well. And we're gonna get rid of all this right here. Ugh. I like feel like the anger in like my chest. It's having such a good day too. This is why I built Pixel Vision 8, my own game engine. Even though it's built on top of Unity, it won't be for long. But I object not set to an instance of an object, whatever the hell that is. Reset game, success, API key. Now nothing's working. Missing requested headers, tournament. Now I broke everything. Cool. All right. Fascinating. All right, let's try this real quick and see if this works. I'm also like really struggling with coroutines for some reason. I should like sit down and really reread. I mean, like I had like a very basic understanding of how coroutines work, but in the... All right, so that's giving me the session ID. Object reference not set, game manager 390. What is giving me that error? Stats, get component stats, show game over summary equals false. The game manager is now looking for this is now attached to the game manager. If you're just tuning in, I was trying to add I was having some problems with running coroutines and stuff on this canvas game object. And I don't know why, but when I put all the code onto my like main game object, my game manager, everything worked fine. There we go. Everything's fine now. So I'm still have like a few little bugs. Request tournament get error generic unknown HTTP error. All right, my belief is that I probably can't. I guess we just have to do this here. I just feel like this is gonna get like timed out or something. I don't know. I gotta talk to Peter about this test harness that he wrote. There we go. Oh my God, the screen position. What is this? All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a list of we're gonna create a list of global tournaments. And in this list, we're basically going to create new list string. We're going to call it, we're looking here, we want to automatically, the way that GameOn works is that you have a tournament, and then you have to create a match or enter a match, and then the player gets associated with that match ID. So what we're going to do is we always want to enroll the player in a game, or we always want to enroll them in a few tournaments automatically. So in this case, we're going to set up a list and we're going to do this one as high scores. So the other ones outside of high scores are going to be like all the stat stuff. So like when we're playing the game here, we're going to basically enroll them into, you know, I'll show you the stats in a second. Oh, it's not showing anything. Unreal. Maybe that's what I should use instead, is Unreal. But I'm bummed. Why is the text not displaying? Game Manager. Stats text. What is going on here? Where's stats? Here's the stats. Hello. So the text is here. I know why. I feel like I have to start this all over again. I have to revert this project. How do I know? Basically what I was doing is when you enabled this game object, I updated the stats. But now I'm not putting this on the game object. And now it's like broken. Oh. Let's do this. I'm gonna move forward. I'm just gonna try to get this to work. And let me just get this to submit a score, and we'll go from there. All right, so I have to really rethink how I built this. I didn't really build it for this, and this is part of the thing that I'm actually testing out with GameOn is like, if you have an existing Unity game, what do you have to do in order to get it to work? But what I wasn't taking into account is how many problems Unity itself is giving me. But all right, anyways. So what we're going to do is we're going to see if this tournament, we're going to look for actually global tournaments, index of tournament name, title, does not equal -1. And so what we need to do is print found global tournament title. All right, so now what I want to make sure is, let's just get rid of all of Unity's fabulous errors. I'm going to, after we get this working, oh my, stop. What is going on? What is it doing? Like, it's just, there must be something here in the UI that's like throwing an error. Ugh, driving me nuts. All right, so we're going to run this, and what I want to see in the console is that, right, we found high scores. We found a global tournament called High Scores. Perfect. So next, what we need to do is we need to enter this tournament. So there's two ways to do this. One, there was an enter match, and I feel like there was I feel like there was some other thing. Test enter tournament first, which I think we're already doing. Right, okay. So what we want to do is, if I remember this correctly, we want to test entering the tournament first. Then we're going to enter this tournament, and once we do this, we're going to get the match ID. And what I got to figure out is that once we get this match ID, we have to save it. So let's see. So let's do this. We're going to start a coroutine here. And we're going to call test tournament first, which is test enter tournament first. All right. I'm just waiting for it to finish compiling. And let's run this. And now this should give us back a match ID. Enter tournament success. And it gives us our match ID. And it tells us how many times that we can actually enter this tournament. So once we do that, we want to save this match ID so that every time that we submit a score, we use the same match ID. So let's create a dictionary here. And we're going to create a private dictionary. And this will be a string equals new entered tournaments. I can't spell to save my life. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I also apparently can't do C#. That was my brain like screwing up and trying to do Lua at the same time. All right, global tournaments, entered tournaments. All right, so every time we enter a tournament, what we're going to do is found tournaments. Where is this tournaments list? Add T. Found. Oh no, it's right here. All right. So we're going to take this response. This response should be a entered tournament response. And let's do this. In our dictionary, we're going to do this as a entered enter tournament response. And we're just going to cache this value. So we'll start this here, debug, get, we found the tournament, right? Then we come down here, and now what we're going to do is enter tournaments is going to equal the add, and we're going to call this response tournament ID, tournament title, response. All right. So what we're going to do now is we will add the tournament. We're going to save the response. And then when we're ready to submit the score, we will go back and we will look for the cached response in order for us to get the match ID for that tournament. And we're basically going to iterate through our dictionary of tournaments and see which ones we want to do. and we're gonna eventually match those back up to the stats. So let's see if this this works real quick and it doesn't throw an error. Because this should be everything we need now. I think, oh, the one thing we need to do is we need to enter a match. That's the last thing we need to do. So we're in the tournament, enter tournament, error, generic, unknown, player has joined the maximum number of matches for this tournament. All right, now I got this error before, and I don't know what this actually means. And I can't... This is where I got stuck earlier. So this might be where we have to end the stream today. I have to talk to them to figure out what I'm doing wrong here. I have to talk to Peter, but he probably would know what I'm missing. Because I hit something where there was read the tech docs. GameOn API workflows. Register a player. Player starts the game. Authenticate the player, get the list of tournaments. Authenticate the player, right? Example body request, example response. Get the list of tournaments. All right, matches and player limits in the game API. A number of interrelated parameters determine the maximum number of players, matches, and player attempts in a tournament. Match max, the maximum number of matches per tournament. Each match replicates its parent tournament for start date and a tournament that has 10 matches also has 10 leaderboards, 10 first prize. For the simplest scenario, single match per tournament sets match max to 1. Player attempts per match. The maximum number of times the player can attempt a play in a match is typically also the number of times the player can submit a score in that match. So I got that. So why is it throwing this error? Player has joined the maximum number of matches in this tournament. Tournament failed. Now, I wonder if this has something to do with when we go to enter a tournament. Enter tournament error. Let me look at the API request here and see. Enter tournament request. Tournaments. Should be serialized. All right, so let's look for this API and see what this actually does. Game API API code samples. Where's just the game? API reference. Tournaments. Guess the list of tournaments for the desired period, optionally filtered by tournament status. So this is tournaments / tournament ID / entered. Enter a tournament for the first time. This finds an open match within the tournament based on the maximum number of matches per tournament and the maximum number of players per match. So my feeling is gets a list of matches for the desired period, optionally filtered by the player's standings in a match. Get tournament details to allow the player to see more information about the tournament. Active session, players attributes, response, successfully get developer tournament details response. Can enter, date enter, start enter, description, has access, match per player, players at match, players per match, score type, subtitle, tournament ID. What I got to figure out is I think what's happened is the player is already in the match. So what I need to do is I need to find the API that lets me test. Let's see, get matches. Gets a list of matches for the desired period, optionally filtered by the player standing in a match. So we need this active session ID, the session API key generated during authentication, filter by a player's status in match, unclaimed, fulfilled prize, prizes won, no prize at all. Players' ongoing matches. All right. Number of matches returned. Filter matches based on a tournament generated type. This returns matches to be used along with filter by and player attributes. All right, so we get a match list response. What we want to get is the match ID. But my understanding right now is that I can use this match ID. I think the player already has the match. Let's try something else real quick before I end this stream for the day. So I've technically already entered the player. And what I got to figure out is when we do tournament enter failed, because the player has already joined. But if we look at high scores, let's look at the table request for game API reference. What I wanted to find was when we look at tournaments, get tournaments. We're not going to filter anything. We're going to get developer tournament list response. Prize ID, description of what it contains, prize title. Enter tournament request. Access key to enter. The player's attributes determine if they can enter or not. The ID of the match the player just entered. Tournament metadata. All right. I have to talk to Peter about this. I'm like kind of stuck on this area. So, all right. I think this is where I'm going to end the stream. It's been real. Hopefully tomorrow I can make a little bit more progress with this and get this stuff working. So, all right. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll be back tomorrow, probably around the same time, 10 o'clock to around 1 o'clock my time, and we'll keep working on this. My goal by the end of the week is to at least have this all working, so it shouldn't be too hard. This is probably something I'm missing in the docs, and as much as I'd love to stream me reading the docs, you probably don't want to see that. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.